Well, thanks for taking a minute to join myself and Jim for what is an exciting, action-packed conversation about a fresh and a brand new topic called microsites. Okay, Mr. Multisite guy, how on earth you got the name Multisite? I love it. But can you give them what is your best shot on what this new trend is, Jim?
Well, this is the latest innovation coming out of the multi-site movement. It's called microsites. I like to talk about the multi-site movement as taking church to the people.
Yeah,
and that's been a game changer in over the last 3 decades for the church in America and beyond today. But this is I like to describe microsites as about taking church to the hood.
There you go, to the neighborhood, huh?
Yeah, and I like the definition as you and I have just been discussing that you defined or described recently. A microsite being a microcosm church that can be done by anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Anytime. There you go. Game on.
And this is all about taking church to the hood, and you're not even limited to even a big building, a medium-sized building. You can go to smaller settings and venues. They can be as small as 10 people or over 100 people.
There you go.
But they go in very untraditional places, small places, homes.
Clubhouses,
community centers, clubhouses, under a bridge.
Under a bridge. There you go. Boom. Huh?
A YMCA or whatever. But Brett, here's the unique piece about this, is what brought you and I together on this, is that microsites utilize video to share the message and the worship.
That's right.
But not just a video of someone speaking on a big stage or someone leading worship on a big stage, but really it has more of a conversational feel to that.
That's right.
To this, it has more of a small group setting than the worship experience. Yes. And we're capturing this. You're learning how to do this and have learned how to do this, and put that in the hands of any person who can take a microcosm of their church. Yes. To these kind of places.
Well, what's fun is we really have begun to see it from our kind of small group venue, introducing video to be able to launch groups. Is just kind of the next gen. It's the best of what is small groups, a weekend service, and multi-site. You take those three-legged stools and you got yourself something very dynamic. But it's not just pushing the long play of the weekend worship where people stand on the row, the pastor's kind of walking across the stage. I talked to what was Andy Stanley about this, and he said you'd have to reproduce a new format, and I think you do. And so the opportunities of something is far more exponential than anything we ever imagined, where you get the best of the multi-site movement and the best of the kind of the video-driven small group movement, and you get this magic transformer moment in the middle.
Yeah, and this is why I'm excited about this, because just like the multi-site movement was messy and undefined in its starting, and it still continues to have all kinds of ramifications of it. This is one of those, and just like in multi-site movement, there's not a one-size-fits-all model everyone follows. There's lots of expressions and models of this, and we're discovering this. This is a very embryonic idea, this microsite, but I think it's getting traction. It's going to get traction, and we're learning this together.
Well, it's fun to be able to see, what is some pathways towards this and some, kind of breadcrumbs along the way of what God seems to be doing.
You've stumbled onto something that I think is the game changer on how to do microsite. Is what you've discovered of this church in the round, about having a service at your home campus, an alternative kind of service in a smaller setting, having a conversational kind of service. I'm loving it. Tell us more about that.
Well, the way that we communicate with pastors is that everybody knows what a traditional service is, what a contemporary progressive service is. This is just the next gen. It's a conversational service.
From classic to contemporary, now conversational services.
Yeah, that's
I'm loving it.
And so it's really church in the round, and it's a senior pastor sitting in a town hall fashion in a very kind of interactive fashion. It's more of a TNT. They're teaching and talking. It's more unplugged.
And they're using their message that they prepared already.
Yeah. See, so some are doing it as a service that has few people together, 50 people sometimes on a stage, and then 500 out in the audience. Or we got one church that's got 1,500 people out there, because it's a far more engaging service, because they're seeing it on the jumbotrons of the side, but it's got this experience that is allowing them to capture the content to launch microsites. Is kind of one of the beautiful benefits long term.
You know what I see? It kind of reminds me of what we're seeing on the TV news shows, talk shows. It's not one commentator now. There's a panel, 2 or 3 people talking about having a conversation. We're seeing that. We're seeing the the talk show host, where
Yeah.
there's a guest and they're having this interactive conversation, and you feel like you're in the conversation even though you're in the audience.
Because it's no longer just like a middle-aged kind of white guy or whatever ethnicity the pastor is, because here you're able to get different ethnicities, life stage, spiritual life stage, and stories. We just did our first racial reconciliation series that had the most broad, life stage and everything as you might imagine. But it's allowing to have the illustrations come from the people here instead of saying, oh, there's a single mom, this, that, or that. No, she's right there, and here it is.
Well, here's what I am excited about, because this could be feeders to ultimately multi-site campuses or church plants. We can see this could play really well on an online campus.
Yes.
And so I'm just excited, Brett, about our teaming up together to help churches really reproduce themselves, extend themselves, and multiply their congregations beyond their region.
Well, Jim, it's a blessing. And for those of you guys who are watching this, Jim and I are doing our best to link arms with those of you that are wanting to kind of go the next gen. We're going to seek to try to develop what could be some webinars and some additional resources and other stories, case studies that you might be able to hear, learn, and help us sharpen our saw and find a new tool and toolbox to be able to move the ball down the field ultimately for the sake of the gospel. We don't want to just do programs or innovations for innovation's sake, but we want to be able to do things that are going to make a difference for the kingdom. And those of you that are watching this, you know exactly what we're talking about. So, Jim, on behalf of us as a team, we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to continuing, the conversation.
That's right.